If you have any advice for future generations of rockers, what would it be?
Get funded.
Get funded. Don't give a damn what people say. Just do what you want to do. You have your natural rights. Follow your natural rights.
You gonna rock us tonight?
Yeah, I think we might rock a little hard. This will be our second practice, or whatever you call it, second appearance, whatever you call it. It ain't really a practice. It's really just a presentation, an oral presentation. Whatever's going on, rock and roll. Rock and roll will never die, never dies. Can't kill it.
Any last words?
It's all fashion, hog nuts. That's it for me.
Hog nuts.
Out.
Inquiring minds want to know, are you the lizard man?
Am I the lizard man? Now, that's a question for the ages. I'm not the lizard man. I'm the frog man. We're friends. He's a good guy.
Because I heard a rumor that you made a lizard suit and then you ran around the PD causing a ruckus. Is that true?
No. I didn't know none of that. I'm innocent of that. Of other crimes, but not that one. Well, you know, it's like everybody has people picking on their names or whatever, but Cell Smell was like, our last name was Cell, so yeah, Cell Smell, like I say, first day on school, you know, some older kid, I'm like, I'm cool hanging with an older kid, and he's like, cool, and then all of a sudden, what's your name? And he goes, oh, he's making fun of my brother, you know, he's like, Cell Smell, Billy. And then so all my people, all of a sudden, next thing I was most hated kid in mankind. And you know what? Nobody would sit on the bus seat with me. You weren't allowed to. I'd get in fights every day on the bus, fights every day, everything. It was horrible. Not just a smell thing, but that was kind of part. They didn't have girl germs; they had smell germs. You know, like this way, you idiots. You know, I was already reading and writing. They didn't know how to spell. It's just like so stupid, but whatever. But then also my friends, people would make fun of that, super smell or whatever. And then also my friends called, we got a new nickname for you. And I was like, what, super smell or whatever? And they're like, no, Ruba Say. I don't know where they came up with it. It was like 4th grade or something. And I just instantly went, Ruba Say will save the day. And they're like, Ruba Say, come on down to play football. And I went out there and kicked off. And then next thing you know, it took a couple years, people hated me and attacking me, and then a few years everybody loved me, and it was like, well, you got the same people that attack me and jumped on me every day, now you're friends with me. But then it turns out Ruba Say does mean an African, communicating with drums, and then also it's like a Middle Eastern name and thing, and river's name, Ruba, and I always spelled it, with 1 B, knowing that, Ruba would be 2 B's, but I liked it look better with 1 B and look more like, Slade, like goodbye to Jane. You spell everything wrong. I figured it was rock and roll. And so probably cursed me because people like, Ruba? And Ruba? I don't know what the name is, but that's the way it goes. And then Cosmic Rays, like I say, well, the band was originally called Impact. It was just me and my friend Matt Logg, and we just mainly did my songs, originals, and played a bunch of shows for older kids and played stuff and for a couple years. And then I had different people, when he moved away, and we had several lineups called Impact. Sometimes a trio, sometimes 5 of us or whatever. But then I found out there was a bunch of other bands called Impact, and Sudden Impact was a punk band and blah, blah. So Cosmic Rays was always a thing. I was always into science and stuff. And so Cosmic Rays was kind of the obvious next name. And it was a little, slightly influenced, but of course, the Cosmic Rays affected the Fantastic Four, gave them their power, that kind of stuff. But the whole thing of Cosmic Rays affecting the world and everything is, it's like, also, like I'm down to earth, but also taking in the cosmic, galactic point of view. I was always writing songs, even as a kid, and then, you know, 4th grade and 5th grade, I was writing some serious songs, and had, you know, compilations of all my songs, and, you know, alphabetically and subject matter. And I was always trying to find people to jam with, and I jammed with 1 or 2 people that, you know, had no clue. And then a friend of mine, my older brother's friend, Tommy, was like, well, my little brother plays drums. And so I'm in 8th grade, and he's in the 6th grade. It turns out he was taught by the drummer for Alabama in the 4th grade, so he knew everything. By the time I played with him, he could play anything by Rush or Kiss. So we started jamming Matt Log, and some of my songs, I'd say, dig it in, and he would be like, that's impossible. We'd work on it, he'd get it down, and I'd go, like, dig it a blop, and he'd fall off the thing laughing, what's a dig it a blop? Dig it a blop on the, and anyway, so we played. Next thing you know, we were playing at, friends' houses for little, people would pay money to come watch us practice, and then we played some, Shriners benefit, and then like the high school kids would hire us to play at the, big beer keg parties, and we did that stuff. We did that for a long time, and then he ended up going to California, being MIT, the drum school, DIT drum school, and ended up playing with his first thing, I guess, was the girl from not Andy, but All in the Family, Danielle DeVos. He did her album. She ended up being that band. They're in a big band now. I can't think of the name, but anyway, then he went from that to playing with Diana Ross, and then Tommy Page, who was managed by and touring with New Kids on the Block. Then he ended up Alanis Morissette. Then he was playing with Slash, Snakebit, and co-writing the songs. We went back, I can't find my pictures. We were backstage there meeting all them and hanging out with ACD, opening for ACDC they were. And then now he's done everything, Pat Benatar, just anything you name, but he's been playing with the Dirty Knob, Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They've been doing a lot of stuff, and they finally put their album out this year, and it's killer, jamming at us. Matt was in town for Christmas, and he played on Hide in the Sun and There's No Time on our last CD. And we actually did another song I might need to finish. I got the drum tracks. But he's an old good friend of mine, still a great friend of mine, great guy. And we wrote some songs together, but if I get kind of upset, man, it happens to everybody, but if you go like a grocery store, if I start going, man, or something, there goes the register. I mean, it'll do it every time, and I have to stay calm at the counter. And that doorknob, there's all kind of weird stuff. But I know I came home one time and my parents are sit there, the closet door's over there. I'm nowhere near it. I mean, I just walk in, and they're like, let me spit. You've been drinking tonight, or the door, it's like the door was like somebody kicked it. I mean, the door just went, the knob just went shot all the way across the room, and landed in the middle of the room. And they're like, we saw you didn't touch that. How did you? And they're like, you break everything you touch. If I get upset, stuff just shuts down. Anything will shut down. I don't know, just frogs just always seem to come around. When I sit around and play guitar, they'll come hopping up, and I'll walk in the house, and also one have been on my head. I don't know from where, and jumps off. This happened several times. A tree frog just jump off my head and start jumping around the house. So they're kind of like my good luck talisman. I don't know. Maybe bad luck. One or the other. But Alice Cooper also killed me almost. He tried to kill me when the 6th grade, they had a gong show. And so everybody was doing little skits. And some 4 guys were Kiss. And they had to cancel because the record player died. But I happened to bring my cassette player. And so I had my Alice Cooper. And so I did No More Mr. Nice Guy. And so I sat a chair out there in a white t-shirt, white shirt, and sat there like a nice guy, start the song, No More Mr. Nice Guy. And I get up and start getting into it. And then without thinking, I wasn't planning it. But just getting into it, I had the Alice Cooper makeup and a black wig, or dyed my hair, I can't remember. And I just went, and I ripped my shirt all the way off. And going, no more. And then I, without thinking, I wrapped the mic cord and went, no, I couldn't breathe at all. And I couldn't get it loose at all. And I finally fell down to my knees. But I'd still, when I get to, I go, no, at that point, and
And I think everybody thought it was party act. I really was about to lose conscious for half the song or something. Right at the end, I mean, I was like, I'm blacking out. Here it goes, and nobody, you know, hopefully somebody can untie it before I die. And the last second, I got it loose and. No, you know, I did the end, and the very end, and then my friend Tara gonged me as a joke. Like, I almost died and you gonged me. So some girls on a tricycle won, but it. So anyway, motorcycle cop pulls up. Those guys drove off, but then the motorcycle cop, what are y'all doing drinking in the daytime? We're like, somebody just gave me, you know. And so we had I think we chugged them and threw them away, whatever. And he's like, you're lucky I'm getting off duty right now. Otherwise, I'd haul you off all to jail. Well, I don't know how he's gonna do it on a motorcycle, but call somebody. Anyway, and I said, oh well, come to the show tonight. And I told him what we were playing. And he looked at me like he was wanting to shoot. Like, you crazy? And drove off. Well, like, man, what? So we played at the sports bar, but there wasn't a stage. So we played in the boxing ring. So I had me and the drummer, Dizzy, but Marshall, was no room for Marshall, so he had to stand on a table. He was standing on a table, and around midnight, it was a bunch of people there, but all of a sudden at midnight, I guess other places closed Saturday or something. All of a sudden it was packed to the rim, and people were just going crazy. They didn't know who we were, you know. And so I was singing, and we didn't have a microphone or nothing, but the original club had a PA. So we had to ask the people next door had karaoke. And said, can we use your mic? And they're like, we close karaoke at 10 o'clock or whatever, or, you know, and y'all can have the microphone, because they knew the club. And so we had the microphone, but no mic stand, so I had to hang it from the ceiling fan. So I'm in the boxing ring singing, and every time I hit the mic, it would start swinging. So the whole time I'm singing like that. And I think it was shocking me too. A lot of times I play a lot of places, it'll shock you. And so I've learned you got to just keep your mouth on it and just get shocked the whole time, because it hurts too much when you just do it randomly. So that's no fun. Now, Athens, I was mainly playing acoustic, but my first gig there, Georgia Theater. You know, I went around trying to get gigs, or you know, but you know, 40-watt guys are kind of, but the Georgia Theater guy, you know, he's like, well, you know, you got to get a name or something. He was cool, but so then one day I'm like, well, hell, it was the first two shows. The first one, I'm gonna get mixed them up. The first one was Chicken Wire Gang, who was a band follows the Grateful Dead and play this. They got albums out. This is pretty good now, and then the Chickasaw Mud Puppies, who were real big at the time because they just put that album out, and they just got off the tour with Jane's Addiction. And so their headline, Georgia Theater, with the Chicken Wire Gang. So I said, hey man, is it cool if I open on acoustic? And you know, the owner was like, well, it's cool with me if it's cool with the sound man. It's cool with me if it's cool with the, you know, the opening band, the headliner band. They were like, it's cool with us, it's cool with the opening band. So everybody said it's cool. So like my first show was like packed Georgia Theater. Nobody knew who I was playing acoustic. Like one of my songs, a year later, some guy heard my name at a party. Goes, Ruba, you High Street Mugger Blues. He remembered the name of the song about me and Marshall getting mugged in Columbia. And anyway, so that was kind of weird. Then I played a lot of acoustic shows, and you know, I did a song right before I moved to that New Year's Day. I recorded a song in a studio in South Carolina. They moved to Athens, and they put it in the high rotation as soon as I got there. More than a neat acoustic song. So every week in the flagpole, they had, you know, how I was listed every week, and I was in the paper, and somebody comes, some girl just walks in, and I don't know who she was, and she said, where'd you get your name, Ruba Say? I said, it's my spiritual name. That's all I said. She stuck her head in the door and left. It turned out to be a flagpole girl, and so the first picture had a picture of me with my shades. Ruba Say, knock you out, like Mama said, knock you out song. And Ruba Say, it's his spiritual name. No one knows where he came from. Some say he came from Alaska, and went all this funny stuff. And then they sent that on the Lollapalooza tour, because my brother went to Lollapalooza in Raleigh, and you know, here's a free magazine. He opens it up and it's got a picture of me going, Ruba Say, knock it. It's like, what the hell? Rented a place across the street from REM's manager, you know, like 2 houses down from Chickasaw Mud Puppies, and Michael Stites lived about 2 or 3 houses down. The first night we moved in that place, because the other place was kind of a dump, you know, party place, torn up, and so the new place, I'm like, so nice to be here. This place is killer. It was a real nice place. And I was like, no rats, because the other place had rats, would eat my Subway, eat through the plastic and eat the whole sub except for the tomatoes and leave the. So I'm like, so thank God there's no rats. And all of a sudden, right when I said that, I'm in the living room all sitting around talking. There goes a rat running across the kitchen sink. And I went, and I went running in there with my Mickey's beer, and I tried to kill the rat. And he was running around, and I was jumping, and I was trying to kill him, and I was trying to hit him, and they're all running behind me and laughing at me. And then I was like, dang. And then I think maybe I grabbed the Cascade 2 box or something. I guess I grabbed the Cascade box, was trying to kill him too. Somehow the cat. And so then I go to sit back down, like, man, and they were like, and I drank my beer, and I go, oh, some of that Cascade got on the top of my beer. I could taste it, but just a little bit. Took a couple sips, and then it was all right, and it was full. So I drank the whole thing, and then when it got just about the end, I chugged the last of it, and I guess all the Cascade had settled at the bottom, and it destroyed my innards. And I ran out to the porch. I instantly puked. I went out there and puked off the porch, thank God. And the REM manager, they filed a complaint. Our first night they were going, we were too loud. That was why we were loud, because all my roommates' friends all come running out on the porch, laughing, screaming, laughing at me, because I'm puking off the side of the porch. And they're going, there's bubbles coming out your mouth, dude. There's bubbles from the Cascade. People think I look like Bill Clinton. I've had people everywhere come up and say, you look like Bill Clinton. That was some weird stuff. See, now I'm starting to realize I think I've been deaf, or slightly deaf, my whole life, because I've had problems hearing even like in the 4th grade in class and stuff like that. But the ringing, I think was right when I started jamming with Matt Logs. We'd jam in his bedroom, just guitar and drums in the bedroom, and those cymbals, the cymbals were driving me. Probably a little bit of my amp full blast and feeding back too, but the cymbals seemed to do the worst. Then, some loud shows and loud practices, and then, actually one time my mom woke me up because I wouldn't wake up for my paper. I never slept. I'd stay up for days, but I haven't even sleep. She woke me up with a shoe upside my head, and I saw lights, and that started ringing and never stopped. Well, I can't remember anything without before music. Yeah, I mean,
Imagine Ted Nugent playing fusion jazz.
Yeah, that was a pretty good song. Hands of the Clock had the music and everything, but no lyrics, and so actually it's kind of maybe what you call too much or whatever, too obvious. No, but it's just basically about the world being all messed up with radiation and pollution and all that. But I did steal the first line, the hands of the clock are reaching high, but that's all. From an old poem called Tales of the 13th Floor by Ogden Nash. And it's like the hands of the clock were reaching high in a midtown hotel. Its sordid flame names no name, but it's table talk in hell.
I just don't know what time it is, but I don't care about time. Time doesn't exist for the hands of the clock. Everybody got the hands of the clock. You better keep your eyes at all times on the clock. It's like a 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2. That's the word.
onslaught was the instrumental, but that's kind of like a frenetic, frantic paced, energy thing. It's mental onslaught, almost like, well, how I even wrote it was like being overwhelmed, bombarded, and it's kind of like, like rock and roll never dies. I'm trying to remember when I wrote it. I'm trying to remember if that was here, and I believe I wrote that in Columbia, not in Florence. Just, I think that one I wrote on acoustic. I think I wrote the opening part, the acoustic part, or the mellow part, before it goes into the hard jamming part. I think I wrote that separately, and then I want to say it was when Chad from 4 Hour Reason, my roommate friend, he had a new guitar. He came home with a new guitar. I was sitting on the porch. I was like, let me see, electric guitar, but I wrote that riff there, so that just popped out. Right where I waited at the bus stop in El Segundo, turns out it was Enigma and Restless Records. And my friend goes, "What's that store, a place with all these gold records and records on the wall?" I'm like, I never even noticed it because the window was away from me. And so I went in there and said, "What's up?" And they were like, "Well, we're moving from El Segundo to Culver City." I said, "Y'all need some help?" And they're like, "Sure." So I helped them move, and I met 3 guys named David. And then I found out the head guy's name is David. I called him. I don't know which one he was, but he was David Gerber. But anyway, I called him. He goes, "What's up, Robbie?" He was real cool, and I gave him a tape I did out in California electronically at the studio, electronic drums. And I just overdubbed everything. And he was like, "I love this." It was 5 songs. He said, he said, "The band's tight." And I'm like, "It's not nobody but me." But he said, "Give me 10 songs and maybe a little bit better production. I'll put this out." Yeah, man. But then I couldn't find a band out there, and my guys said come back, and went back. We played 1 show, and the band broke up, and the bass player became a cop. But anyway, it's great to be out. And I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm losing my train of thought. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So right when I got back from California, working at the hospital and doing all that in El Segundo, when I got back to Florence, they have, give out art grants. So I applied for it. It's for Cosmic Justice, a rock opera.
We want justice! Cosmic justice! Y'all want hot nuts? L.A.? This is for all you people that don't like whatever.
It's a rock opera, so I could see, doing rock, but it does have things like I say, "Catapult to Freedom" was one of the songs, acoustic song, and Irvin Dargan that produced or engineered that had the studio, Uncle Mingo Sound, he played flute on it, but could do that with orchestra or anything. Yeah, I mean, all of it could be done, even mental onslaught, all that, have violins and whatever. Yeah, I've changed it at least 20 times. I had the whole thing written out, dialogue and concepts of everything, and I've lost all that. But I really had the concept before. They had that ad, the Art Commission, National Endowment for the Arts thing, for art grants. But I'd already had the concept before I saw that. I've done probably for years, but it's just basically, but it kind of changed, evolved. It was different scenarios of somebody being like a judge, either an alien or something like of that nature, and most of them involved like one person's life, kind of like, like the concept was, insanity and depression and war, basically, is what I told them, and that's what it was, basically, overcoming, things and just crazy stuff of life, and then, it could be like, some of them would be like, why didn't you do more to save the world, So, eventually we're going to do something with it, knock her down, and if I had something definitely like, we're going to put it on next month. Okay, well now I got actually rewrite. So like I say, so many various concepts, and most of them forgotten.
We quit while we had you. We had some more avant-garde or avant-garde clue.
And so.